to the Business and Bubbly podcast. This is the place for women in business who are on the journey of building their big ideas and want to have fun along the way. It's for those of us who also know we aren't meant to do business or life alone. Hi, I'm Charity Majors, your host and the founder of Business and Bubbly. Think of this kind of like the can I pick your brain chats that you've always wanted to have with those who are doing epic things, plus business besties, hype girls, and getting into massive action towards your next big idea all in the same place. Oh, and bubbles, because if you're not having fun along the way, you're not doing it right. Together, we'll unlock what it means to be seen, known, heard, and championed all along the ups and downs of entrepreneurship and being a woman in business building big dreams. Each week, I'll bring you a quick sip business tip, as well as interviews from top experts that make you feel like you're getting bottle service for your business. We're having the raw and real conversations and chatting about all the things, the messy middle, the pivots, scaling, the good days and the bad days, because here we do real. It's where we can work hard, play hard, cry it out, and dance it out all at the same time without being judged. This is a place where we are in the arena together and we are each other's biggest fans because most of us have enough comments from the cheap seats. It's where our too much is par for the course and where the gaps of our not enough are filled in by the other epic women that are around us. It's where we can be unapologetic about the mission we are on, about the big dreams on our heart, and the business we are building without having to be perfect or have it all together, or even pretend to. It's a supportive community where business is being done amongst like-minded women, because when money gets in the hands of good women, great things happen. It's a place where you have the support around you to get out of your comfort zone and go after your big ideas, because even when you fail forward or when you reach the top, you know it won't be alone. Also, if you know anything about me, you'll know that I'm obsessed with creating platforms that lift up other women to be seen and heard and known. So with that in mind, I'd like to invite you to list your business on our directory called Find Women in Business. All you've got to do is text the word directory to 833-231-8098, and I'll text you the link back to get your free listing. This is also a great way to connect with other women in business from around the world, so definitely check it out. And now let's get to the good stuff. Grab a glass of your favorite beverage, Prosecco, bubbly water, or whatever your flavor is, and let's dive in. Are you with me? Here we go. Hey sis, welcome back. I'm your host, Charity Majors, and we are on part 2 of our 6 C's for a strong community. Now these are going to be number 4, 5, and 6. If you didn't hear our last episode with number 1, 2, and 3, go back, listen to that. You can listen to this one first, but then just go back to listen to the other ones because they all go together when it comes to either having, building, or being a part of a strong community. Okay, so our first one was care, then we had connection, then we had communication. I dove into those 3 in the previous episode, so go back and listen to that. And our next 3 are commitment, content, and climb. Now, this episode is brought to you by our virtual Business and Bubbly chapter. If you are craving that community of not only collaborative women, but like-minded women, I actually lead our virtual chapter and would love, love, love to invite you in. Now, we do have our in-person connections and I will say, I'll preface it with this, is that there's nothing that replaces the magic of what happens when we get in the room together, heart to heart, soul to soul, business to business, belly to belly. There's nothing that can replace that. And I also know that as Business and Bubbly is still growing, as we're still creating and cultivating these communities all throughout the country, where we may or may not be in your area yet. Okay. So first of all, if you want to lead community, girl, okay, let's talk, because
We are looking for chapter directors, those women who know that they're called to lead from the front of the room, who you are an expert in your area. You want to grow in your speaking, grow in your facilitation. You want to grow in building a community, but also you don't want to take away from your other business. You have your main business, like, girl, I get that. This is actually meant to be kind of a cherry on top and an asset that helps you grow in your speaking, in your event planning and hosting events and building a community around you so that your other business, your main business, actually thrives. And you grow in your leadership, and just really intentionally, like, if you find that, okay, you're in the rooms, maybe you're the smartest woman in the room, like you're wanting to lead a community and you don't want to start from scratch, you don't want to do it alone. Like, we've got proven profitable systems. Like, girl, let's chat, because we can get you plugged into our chapter director community and get you rocking and rolling with your very own Business Bubbly chapter in your area. Okay. So like I said, there's nothing that replaces the magic of what happens in the room. And as we grow, we're having women that are like, okay, but like, I still want to be involved. Like, I see the culture of what it is that you're doing. So we have our virtual chapter. We still meet once a month. You get some really fun perks that come along with our virtual chapter. You actually get in closer proximity to me and get to be connected with me as your chapter leader up for our virtual chapter. We bring in guest experts that come speak, and then we have found some really, really incredible ways to facilitate deep and genuine connection, even online, even when there's a screen. So head over to businessbubbly.com/virtual and you will find out information about our virtual chapter. And I would love to invite you to come join us every single month, and come get plugged into our virtual community. And then who knows, maybe one day or maybe now you might be leading a community as well. All right, so now back to the last 3 C's, number 4, 5, and 6 of our 6 C's for a strong community. This next one is commitment. Now, here's the thing, is that community doesn't happen with a one-time visit, okay? Sure, connection can happen with a one-time visit, but that doesn't always mean that it's going to be continued connection. And it happens over and over with consistency. And when it comes to community, like when you walk into a new room with new women, or like I was talking about with our virtual community, when you walk into a new virtual community, when you get involved in community, it might kind of take a few times to kind of get over the nerves and to kind of start to feel a little bit more comfortable and to see a few familiar faces where you can kind of, okay, take a deep breath. Like, I don't feel like the new girl, like always or all the time. And so a strong community, commitment is so, so needed. It's so necessary. And here's the thing is it's really important to get in community and to let community get in you. Okay. Just like it's important to not only like take a drink of water, like there's a difference between when you take a drink of water and when you get in the ocean, and both, right? We need both. Like, go take you got to get in water, like you got to take a shower, you got to take a bath, and you got to drink water. So you've got to get in water, and water has to get in you. You got to get in community and allow community to get in you. And here's the interesting part is that we can be really hurt in community, and maybe like me, you have also been hurt in community. I've been hurt in community. I've been, torn down by other people, other women. I've been gossiped about. I've been, criticized. I've been misunderstood. I've walked into places where I felt like I didn't belong. Sometimes I was too much, and other times I was not enough. And right, like we can be really hurt in community, and we can also be really healed in community, because hurt people, and healed people, healed people. And so when you get into spaces where relational health, well, there's a high value for relational health. When you get into spaces where there's a high value for vulnerability, like where the leaders actually lead with vulnerability, there's a big difference. And that's where it's actually safe to let community get into you. And it's risky. Like it's the both and. There's places where it's safe and it still is a risk. But here's the thing. is what I have learned, not only as a community builder, as a lover of people, as someone who genuinely, I don't know if you've ever done Gallup Strengths Finders, like you absolutely should. It's literally is my favorite personality like test that are out there out of the bazillion, the Enneagram and the colors and the disc and the human design and like all the things, right? Like Gallup Strengths Finders, first of all, is like the best one. I will like bet my life on it. But my number one is connectedness. And so that actually literally means that it's my strength to connect with people, connect people to people, connect people to resources, to really make cultures of connection and community. And so when it comes to this, it's actually, but like I mentioned, it's really vulnerable. Like for me as a community builder and as a lover of people, it's like if it doesn't hurt when someone leaves, then I'm not doing community well, because that hasn't cost me something. So I'll give you an example. I did another episode about this, about the cost of community that nobody counts. So if you want a little bit deeper into this concept, go listen to that episode. But if you're a community builder, or if you are a part of community, what it looks like to genuinely come in with an open heart is that if someone leaves your community for whatever reason, right? Like for example, I had a gal, she was in, like her and I really connected, and she ended up getting so booked with her business and needed to take a break from the community. And then we had another one where our local community, the one that I run, we had expanded into a couple other chapters. And so some girls, they went to the evening chapter as I started our morning time. And so obviously these women that I had been cultivating relationship with and community with for the last year, they're now like staying with the evening time as I started a new time. And so I wasn't seeing them on a regular basis, and I missed them. And I still do, right? I still do. And if it doesn't hurt when someone leaves for whatever reason, good or bad, then like if it doesn't cost me something as far as my heart, then I actually know that I'm not doing community well. And it actually means that I haven't invested into that person. Like if they come in and I'm just like, oh, whatever, you're just like another number, like come in the room, like thanks for your ticket, thanks for your money, like peace out if you never come back again, like I don't really care. Like that's not being a healthy leader. That's not being a really good, like that doesn't cost me anything as far as my heart and as far as like belief in someone or investing in someone. And so when it hurts or when it's done right, community should actually cost you something, like in the most beautiful way. Okay. The most valuable things are costly, and relationship is absolutely worth it. Okay. So when you get in community and when community gets in you, it can be hard and vulnerable to open yourself up to new people. It does take some time. Like we're talking about commitment, new friendships, new connections, especially if you've been hurt before, like I have. And there's a lot of us out there, right? But it's always worth it. It's worth the commitment. It's worth the cost. It's worth the connection, because we are all made for connection. We're not meant to go at this thing alone. And it does take a commitment. It does take vulnerability. It does, and it will cost you something. Okay. So that is commitment. Now, the next one, number 5, is content. Now, here's the thing when it comes to content. So content is kind of the like what's being offered in the community, what's being spoken about in the community. So if you're a community builder, obviously the content that you offer your community needs to be really valuable to provide value to your community. And if you're within a community or getting involved in a community, be sure that the content in that community is what you want, right? Are they teaching you about a certain topic? Are you growing? Is it providing value to you? Well, good, like it should, right? Because there's a difference, like if you're getting involved in a community of like dog owners compared to getting into a community like a mastermind for your business growth. 2 communities, but obviously the content is very, very different, right? The connections are going to be very, very different. So know what season you're in and know what content you want to be in, know what environments you want to be in. If you want to be in a growth environment, get involved in, we're going to actually start to kick off. You'll start to hear us with our Lead Hers, LEADHERS, our leaders community. We have our connectors community, right? If you want to be in those growth environments, those masterminds, things like our Rise Summit, Those are growth environments. If you are a dog owner and you want to go and get involved in like a dog community, like go for it, girl. Like high five, more power to you. I have a dog. I'm not going to be in a dog community because I don't have time for that. But like if that's your jam, again, this is just kind of an example of like how the content is going to be different. So just make sure that the content of the community that you're in is the environment and the content that you want to be around and the content that you want to be like absorbing into your mind, into your heart, into your spirit. Right? So content. And then the last one is the climb. Okay, so there should be a pathway for your growth when it comes to strong communities. It if there isn't a pathway for growth, then I'm just going to say this, you may be in a room with a leader that wants to keep those around her small. Okay, which is actually a really insecure leader. And if you are interested in the climb, then what it looks like is you have to be in a room with a secure leader that's leading that community that actually makes space for people to grow and to expand and to get big and to be bigger and better than what the leader could ever even be. And the leader can't be insecure about this. Okay. So if you want a room full of big people, if you want a room full of leaders, then you also have to be in a room with a big person, a big leader that isn't afraid of other people outgrowing her. Okay. But there has to be a climb, because if you're in a room of leaders, if there isn't a place for a leader to find home, then they will quickly become the smartest person in the room, and then they more than likely will leave. Okay. So there has to be a climb, and there should be a new level. Okay. So for you, those of you that are building communities, there should be a new level for your community members to grow into. If you're finding that your big leaders are leaving your community on a regular basis, you might not have enough places of a climb for them to grow into. And that doesn't always have to look like another offer. That can look like an invitation to your leadership team. That could look like an invitation to volunteer with you. That can look like an invitation to speak. That can look like an invitation for them to have a little bit more say-so and ownership in that community that you're building. Because good leaders and good leadership is actually giving responsibility away and not holding on to it. And knowing that people, like if you want people to outgrow you in every single way, that's actually the sign of a secure leader, versus an insecure leader or a leader that has some growth to do, wants to keep other people around them small because they have to have all eyes on them and they have to be the know-all, end-all, be-all of that thing. Okay. So there's got to be a climb. And so for you, if you are now a part of a community, understand that for you, as you grow personally or professionally, and then there has to be if you're in the right community, there's got to be a place for you to grow into. Otherwise, you probably won't stay in that community for very long. Okay. So there should be new levels for people in the community to aspire to climb to rise, and to bring others along as you go. So when it comes to community, we want to have those, like what we like to say is you have to have those that pour into you, right? Get it? Business Bubbly, right? We get poured into. We have those that we run alongside. Those are like our peers. And then we have those that we pour into. Okay. Those that pour into us, those that we run alongside, and those that we pour into. And that means that we are getting filled. That means that we have our cheering squad, our peers that are kind of a little similar journey to us, as well as those that we are able to help and serve along the way. And that's a part of the climb. If you're finding that you're the smartest person in the room, and if there isn't much of a climb for you, then you might want to find a new room. Or girl, let's talk, because you could lead a chapter of Business Bubbly. Okay. Sometimes it doesn't always mean that you leave the room compared to lead the room. Okay. And if there's a climb, aka a growth environment for you to continue to grow into, then do it, because there's nothing that replaces the shared experience of a community. Okay. So for example, I used to play sports, and right? This is a community, a team. We worked our butts off towards the championship. We went to nationals. We made like top in the nation. I got all these really fun records and national accolades and all this stuff, right? And those girls, like, we have a shared experience of going to nationals and being one of the top volleyball teams in the nation. Right? When you go through, I know for me, anytime I'm in a mastermind or when I go to a retreat or a conference, it's like there is something that happens like that weekend or in that mastermind where it's like you have this shared experience, the growth experience with that group of people. And some of my best connections have come from those rooms and come from those spaces and come from those growth containers. Okay? So if you can get into growth environments, do it, because there's going to be a really, really special connection with those people that are in that same growth container as you, that you will literally, like, I could call people, like, actually, fun story, I actually just ran into, literally, my husband and I, we were out to lunch. I ran into another gal who was in another mastermind that I was in 7 years ago. And it was like, so great to see her. And like, we just like caught up like old times. And all right, there was that shared experience of growth that we had. And it was great, right? So there's nothing that replaces those growth environments and the shared experience that you can go through with people to really help create community within an environment of like a climb, like a growth environment. Okay. Your next level is waiting and the world needs what you have. So get involved in a community that has a climb, that is a growth environment, that has the next, that will not leave you where you're at. Like, here's the thing, like there's this balance between like compassion and empathy. Like, yes, like we can absolutely sit with you in your hardest days and in your ugly cries. Like, yes, like that's important. And we don't leave you there. Like, you don't get to stay there. You don't get to like set up camp and stay in the ditch. Like, we're going to help you come out of that, right? And that happens with community. That happens with those that can help you climb and help you rise. Okay. So that was number 4, 5, and 6, commitment, content, and climb. Commitment. Community doesn't happen with a one-time visit. It happens over time, and it takes a few times to get the hang of things. Get in community and let community get in you. It could be hard and vulnerable to open yourself up to new people, to new friendships and connections, especially if you've been hurt before. It will cost you, but it's always worth it. Content, make sure that the content in the community is what you want. Are they teaching you about a certain topic? Are you growing? Is it providing value? Again, make sure that you want to be around, that you want to be learning, and around the people that you want to be around. Because again, there's a difference between the community for dog owners, just as much as there's a difference with the content for a community or a mastermind for women in business, right? So content. And then the last one is the climb. So there should be a pathway for your growth. It's not that you may be in a room. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm trying to read this and there's a typo. This is the summary. Okay. So if there is not a pathway for your growth, you may be in a room with a leader that wants to keep others small around her, or she might not necessarily be doing it on purpose. But she just might think that she's the end all be all do all and that her thing is the best, which is fine. That just means that she's the ceiling, and that community, as you grow, you'll probably just outgrow it, and that's okay, right? There should be new levels for you to aspire to climb to rise to, and to bring others along with you as you grow. If you're the smartest person in the room, there isn't much of a climb, and you may want to find a new room. Like, it could be really, really scary to intentionally go find a different room that you are the dumbest person in the room. Right? This is where you're not enough is going to come out. The insecurities might come out. But if you can get really, really good at asking questions, back up to number 2 with our 6 C's for strong community, with connection and communication. Go back to the other episode if you haven't heard them. Then being the dumbest person in the room is actually really one of the smartest things that you can do. Okay. You will grow far faster than what you would ever do if you're the smartest person in the room. And it's not to say don't ever be in rooms where you're the smartest person in the room. That means that you can typically serve to a really, really great capacity, and you don't want to be only in that room, right? Because remember, you've got to be poured into, and you have to pour into others. It's this beautiful flow of things versus stagnancy of either only being poured into or only pouring into others, and then you're just completely empty. It's got to be both, okay? So our 6 C's for a strong community. Number one is care. Number 2 is connection. Number 3 is communication. Number 4 is commitment. Number 5 is content. Number 6 is climb. And that is how you know you are either involved in or building or a part of a strong community. I would love to know which one of these resonates with you. Go ahead and reach out on Instagram. My personal handle is Charity Majors, or our Business and Bubbly handle is Business Bubbly. Surprise, surprise. All right, come connect with us. We actually want to hear what we want to open up these conversations and just really connect with you. So come hang out with us on Instagram. Let me know what one of these is your favorite. If you're building a community, let me know how you're going to implement these. If you are a part of community and you are saying, yes, this community is amazing, you have these 6 things, or, oh, I could see how this community I'm in could improve on this area. And if you want to get involved in community, come be a part of our virtual chapter. I would love to connect with you in our virtual space that we have. And then if you're ready, maybe not to leave the room, but to lead the room, shoot me a message. We can definitely chat about what it looks like for you to be a chapter director in your area. All right, my friend, have an incredible day and cheers to your success. Talk to you soon.
Thank you so much for listening to the show. I hope it brought some value and some fun into your business and life. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast, and even share the episode with a fellow business bestie who you know will love it. It helps us continue to attract top-level guests and reach more and more women who are on their journey in business just like you. Remember that when money gets in the hands of good women, great things happen. Cheers to your success.